On.
Good morning.
Is this thing on?
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Well, surprise to you and us. Last month when we did Sunday Best, we had no idea we would be in Hawaii this morning.
Last week we had no idea.
Yeah.
A week ago.
But we do now.
And we're here. And tomorrow is Ella's birthday, so we're gonna celebrate Ella's birthday
Yes.
in Hawaii. My brother Dave is in the Navy and he's stationed in Hawaii, so it's been on our radar for the last year and a half or so to come visit. But we sort of bought this stay, expecting to use it this summer. Then we decided we were going to do it next summer. And then we got a phone call from the resort people, and they were like, hey, that stay that you already paid for is going to expire in October. And once Eileen and Ella start school in the fall, there's not going to be a break long enough. So it's sort of very last minute, became now or never. So we just had the most amazing 2 days, 2 full days, like 3 days for the kids, with my brother and his family. They've been here on Oahu for the last almost 2 years. So they know some amazing spots, and they took us to some amazing spots.
Yeah.
And I will edit our footage after I get home and put some Hawaii videos up here on KKP.TV. But yeah, we just wanted to keep our commitment, get on at 2 p.m. Eastern. No, I'm not wrapping up.
Okay.
But like I realized I did the math and I was like, oh yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern is 8 a.m. here. So I literally just woke up Aubin and Ella
and Hank are awake too.
Ella and Hank are awake-ish. But anyway. But here we are. We made it to Hawaii.
Okay, so I want to go back to Dad getting the phone call. So Dad gets the phone call and he comes down and he's all stressed. He's like, oh no, I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, I was literally on a call for work, and I was on a meeting. I was in a meeting that I wasn't super involved in, and I answered my cell phone because it was Hilton Garden reservations or whatever, and I was like, oh no. And that's when they told me that the trip that we had paid for was going to go away in October if we didn't use it. So.
And Dad was like, oh, I've made a huge mistake. What are we going to do? We're going to lose all this money. And,
yeah, because even at that time, I did not consider it a possibility to go to Hawaii this summer. Like, I was just like, that's crazy. That's definitely never going to happen.
Because we had like a month window, pretty much.
Yeah, because Eileen starts to teach her work days at the end of July. And this was July. This was June. It was like late June, yeah.
So we had like 4 days.
No, by the end of that day, the day that I got the call from the Hilton people, by the end of that day, we had booked our trip, booked our stay here at this place, and booked our flights, and like had arranged it with my brother and everything. I'll give you just a quick pano of. So we're here on the rooftop. It was raining, so I want to, but it's kind of stopping. But like, there's the mountain. Yeah, it doesn't suck. The view is amazing. This rooftop bar opens at 8, and we came up here at like 2 minutes to 8, so nobody else is up here yet. But it's amazing. And here's the little like pergolas thingies. Anyway, we had paid for this trip, this stay, like through a program, a promotional thing, whatever, and paid for it over time. So it would be a real bummer to not use it. So we're using it.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you can see we're all a little sunburned. The last couple... Well, anyway, keep going, Aubin.
So I guess the idea is, like, don't be judgy. Because do you actually know what you're talking about? Probably not.
Well, and
Like-
good, bad. Is it
Yeah.
a terrible mistake or an amazing opportunity?
Yeah, for example, last night the girls went to.
A Bon Dance Festival. It's like a Japanese cultural festival. They happen a lot in Japan, but they have one here, and it was
It was the largest
amazing.
where?
in Hawaii.
The largest one in Hawaii.
Mhm.
And there
It
were
only happens once a year.
there were definitely thousands of people there.
And that's where I got this half coat. Howdy. And Ella got one for herself, and we got one for Hank as well. So.
That's awesome. So did Dad end up going in or no?
No.
There was nowhere to park.
Oh, because there was
We
so
saw
People
many
were
people
walking
walking
like
for
miles. It was crazy. There was a drugstore and a Burger King near the event, and the parking lots were completely full. They were probably
wow.
ticketing people
Yeah.
for like. Anyway.
We saw a parking lot that had like people with like lightsabers and like ticket taking stuff. Like, I don't know, a mile away.
Wow.
Oh yeah. People saying like park here.
Yeah.
We were already like way
was
down the
great.
road.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. Like,
But it was
so
only
many
10 minutes
people
from
were
our
Japanese,
hotel. It was like 10
and-
minutes away.
Meanwhile, I slept through the whole thing.
Yeah, I only went
really
to bed
wanted
at
to go, but I just
6:30
was
last night.
so tired.
It's okay. You got
It
sleep.
was
You
a
need your body
madhouse.
needed rest.
At first, when we got there, it was just like people. Like, you had to like.
So many people. Hank
had-
rode with us and was considering maybe going, and we saw the crowds, and he was like, "No, I'm
Hank's
not."
not
Going.
really
not-
into that.
Hank's
our
not
house
into
scene,
crowds.
So.
But
Ella loved it.
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, the girls were.
I didn't see her long this morning, but she
It
was
was
So,
really great.
yesterday-
We did some bone dancing as
Oh
well,
yeah, they did some bone dancing. Explain
It's
that.
great.
It's like Japanese line dancing.
but in a circle.
It's Japanese circle dancing.
And
a line is just a straight,
straight
curve,
curve.
Robin.
A line is a straight curve.
That's what we learned in math.
So we were always at first when you like you get a new song and new dances, it's like, oh my gosh, you're just like,
Yeah, trying to
and
follow
you're
the
turning
old
later
ladies.
than everyone else, and you're clapping off beat, and hopefully by the end you can clap on beat like 80% of the time, and you turn when other people
That's
turn.
so awesome.
Yeah, I
Very
still
cool.
remember.
Did you get to
our
Japanese?
dances? I spoke a teeny tiny bit. Unfortunately, I forgot to ask how much is this? Like how much money?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like that could have led into a larger conversation, but I forgot like exactly how you say it.
Oh.
And I was also like trying to pay anyway.
Yeah.
So
Navigating a lot of things.
yeah, and there were like 8 people behind me trying
Yeah.
to pay as well. So
Yeah, not the best place to have a
But
chat. But there are a
sometimes
lot of Japanese people
sometimes
here.
I like
Hawaii.
say "sumimasen" in a grocery store when I'm like passing people, and they're just like, "Oh, sumimasen." And then some people aren't phased at all. They're like,
So, we're not going to make this one very long, but basically,
"Let life be great."
let life be great. Just let the blessings flow. Let them
Worship
come
and
to you.
receive.
Worship and receive. That's our family motto. Because God loves you more than you think He does,
Yeah.
and He's always excited about surprising you.
Being not trust but verify.
Oh.
That's our internal family motto: trust but verify. But when it comes to our God relationship, it's worship and receive. Oh right, so this place that we're staying in, when we called to see about
Oh yeah.
coming this summer, they were like,
Oh.
of this year. Like when we called, we were like,
Yeah.
what do you
Very
have in
similar to our
July?
marriage.
Very similar to our wedding venue story. But there was like one room. They have 3 resorts
Two
here.
of them are enormous.
2 of them are over there, and then this one is like kind of separate. But out of 3 resorts, they had 1 room
Because someone had canceled.
because someone had canceled. And
Which
they
is
were
also how we got our wedding venue.
and they were like, we're gonna need to go ahead and book this right now because someone else is gonna take it. And we were like, yeah, go ahead. So
Oh,
then we
also
called
have
my
to tell the
brother.
flight story as well after this.
Then we called my brother to discuss it and be like, hey, we're coming. So we actually overlapped with my other brother who was here visiting, which is crazy because when they left to come here, I was like, wow, that's so great that they're going to
Yeah.
Hawaii. Like, no concept that I would be going
Anytime.
by the end of the week. So our flights. So we got flights, and we got up at 3:30 in the morning to leave Raleigh to get to Dallas in time. We would have had a 2-hour layover and then caught our flight directly to Honolulu. Well,
Gotten here once, seen.
yeah, gotten here at
Seeing
1 in the
the
afternoon,
family.
gotten to see my brother and his family before they left. It was going to be perfect. Well, we get to the Dallas airport and find out that our flight, first it was 45 minutes delayed from 11 a.m. to 11:45. I was like, okay.
Totally.
But it was like 8:30 in the morning, so 11:45 still felt pretty far away. Because we got up at 3:30, got to the airport, whatever. So we'd been traveling for a long time already. Well, then our flight gets bumped all the way to 3:30 p.m. Now it's 8:30 in the morning,
Central.
Central
so it's
time.
like 9:30
9:30.
our time.
and I just was really bummed about staying in the airport for however many hours that is.
Too many.
It's a lot, like 6 hours,
A
right?
lot more hours.
So many hours,
And then
and
before
miss
a
my
really
brother
long
and his
flight.
family before they left. So I did a really dumb thing, and they were like on the app, on the American Airlines app, it was like, do you want to change your flight at no cost? And I saw one that was leaving at 11:45. I was like, and it was going to get in at 1 or whatever, and I was just like, that's perfect. And I clicked yes, and they were like, are you sure? And I clicked yes, and walked back to the family and was like all proud of myself. I was like, guys, we're not staying here till 3:30. We're leaving at 11:45. But I kept trying to check the boarding passes, and they kept saying they didn't have a gate. They didn't have a flight number. They had a flight number, but they didn't have a gate. They didn't have seat numbers. And I was like, this is really weird. So I check again and look closely, and I had changed my flight to 2 days later and said, yep. They're like, are you sure? And I said, yep. So then I immediately call American Airlines to explain what I had done. And they were like, it's too close to the flight for us to change anything on the call center, so you're going to have to go to a desk. So I go stand in line, talk to somebody, and she's like, let me see what I can do. And she gets on there, and she's like, I have 2 seats on the flight leaving at 3:30. The only flight that's leaving. This is July 3rd, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, July 3rd.
The day
So
before the 4th.
turns out 4th of July weekend is a big travel weekend. So, she's like, I got 2 seats. And I was like, get them. I said, just grab them. And she was like, okay. So we had 2 seats back on the plane. And she was like, more might come available. And I was like, who snapped up these tickets in no time? Well, it turns out a lot of airline
we had
people.
only released the tickets for like an hour.
Not
Yeah.
even an
And
hour.
the
It had
flight
been like
shouldn't have
45
no
Nobody's
minutes.
gonna buy them
No
or even
one's
like
gonna-
see them. Or,
But it's standby people.
Yeah.
It's people, airline people, flight attendants, pilots, etc., who are trying to fly to Hawaii for the weekend. But anyway, so a lot of anxiety-ridden hours of
Wait,
hoping.
Hold on. We were 1, 2, and 3 on
standby.
standby.
Yes, the
So we
the
were like, well,
lady
maybe we
did
could
do
still
me a
get on.
solid, and she put the 3 of us that didn't have tickets, like seated tickets on the plane, she put us 1, 2, and 3 on standby. So we held out hope that we would all 5 get on the plane
For the next.
for the
6
next
hours.
5 hours.
But in that time,
There's an opportunity.
We all worked on our anxiety
Ella and
and
I rode the Sky Train or the Skyline or the Sky whatever
I think it's called the Sky Train.
the Sky Train. We rode
It's
it
at the
like
Dallas
all the way
Fort Worth
around, and then
airport.
and then the car we were in, they were like, the car needs maintenance. Everyone has to get out. So then we got out, and we walked the entire airport, which was great. And then I did some yoga, bought a book.
Yeah.
I basically just kind of low level stressed out about it the entire time.
Yeah.
But
We bought Auntie Anne's pretzels.
so
Walked around some
finally
more.
about like 20 minutes before boarding, the attendant shows up at at the gate.
Dad's been standing by this desk
I'd been
for
standing
like
by the
3
gate for hours. So I'm like, hey, I did a really dumb thing, and I explained the whole story. And he was like, well, I can't release standby tickets until 20 minutes before takeoff. So like even after boarding starts. And there's like a medical emergency, and 2 people someone goes off on a stretcher, and
Well, only one
Like
person
right
left
in
on the
our,
stretcher.
like right in where
Right
we were
at our gate.
sitting. Like someone.
anyway, we were still hopeful we were all going to get on the
Stretching
plane.
away.
At the very end, right as most of the people are on the plane, and there's a
Everyone's
bunch of
on.
people who want to fly standby standing around, including us, and we're like the 1, 2, 3 on the list. And they say I can put 2 more people on the plane.
Oh,
So
two.
it would have been it would have been 4 out of 5 of us, and that was kind of gut wrenching because it was like 4 of us can get on. So
But
we ended up.
before, we had already talked about what we
Yeah,
would
we
do
already
in
discussed-
all the circumstances, and
We
Yeah,
hadn't really discussed it. 4.
We did.
we did,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
did discuss
because
it.
all 3 kids would go,
We definitely decided all 3
and
kids
mom
would
and dad
go
would stay together.
because
they
whoever
would
was
have 4th of July
behind,
together.
whoever stayed behind was gonna have to deal with getting a hotel room, getting Ubers to said hotel, all that stuff. None of that's gonna be covered by the airline because it was my fault. I had canceled the tickets. So anyway, I knew I needed to stay to deal with all of that. And who was gonna stay with me? I felt bad asking Eileen to stay with me, but she
Gotta go.
stayed with me. So we
Yeah,
sent the
gotta go do
kids.
laundry. Okay.
Bye, Mom.
Love you.
So we stayed with the kids.
Love you. Bye.
So we stayed. So we sent the kids. The kids went. Dave, my brother Dave, they were gonna get in at like 6 in the evening, so it wasn't gonna be
Which
like
was
crazy
like
late. And my brother
1
Dave was
a.m.
only 10 minutes from the airport, so he could just pop over, pick them up. No big deal. I wasn't stressed out about that. I mean, I was a little
It
stressed
was-
out about them flying 8 hours over the ocean without us, but I was like, it'll be fine. And it was fine. They got there.
But Mom started crying. Like,
Yes,
when we
at the
left.
gate as they were like closing the door and we were officially like watching the kids leave. Eileen just had a very strong emotional response and she was crying, which definitely led to the
Well,
guy.
hold on. It's
Oh,
totally normal.
Oh, totally
We
valid.
had been
Totally
stressed
valid.
out for like 6
Yes,
hours.
I think it was a relief. I think it was a
And
lot of things.
Then it was like the like not worst case scenario, because worst case scenario 2 of us were gonna get on the plane. It was like second worst case scenario.
None of
No,
it was
actually,
worst case
worst
scenario.
case scenario was that we
No
would
one's
have to
gonna
wait
get
2
on.
days to go to
Yeah,
Hawaii.
because
That
I had
was worst
actually,
case
so it was
scenario.
July 3rd. I had actually changed the flight to July 5th. And we were really looking forward to spending the 4th with my family.
Yeah.
So that really would have been
That
worst
would have been
case.
worst case scenario.
But that didn't happen. So here's what did happen. 3 kids got on at 3:30 on the 3rd. Wow, it's a lot of 3s.
That is. a lot
And
of
they
things.
went to Hawaii and flew 8 hours over the ocean and got picked up by their uncle and got to see their cousins and, hung out
Yep.
and blah, blah, blah.
Got to
And
have
then
nice dinner at their house.
Eileen and I booked a hotel room not too far, went and had some food, slept in a great, clean, comfy, cozy bed, took showers. I mean, it felt great after a long day of traveling because we'd been up, like I said, since 3 in the
Yeah.
morning. And the guy at the gate who was so moved by our situation somehow got us ticketed seats on, not standby, ticketed seats on the very first flight out in the morning. So we just had to come back to the airport.
Which was somehow not available the day before.
Yeah, no, not at all available. I don't know what he did. He bumped some other people. I don't know what he did. But basically, we got on. We basically ate, got up, and came back to the airport and got right on a plane. And then we were in Hawaii by noon.
Hold on.
So we were.
Okay, but they also, Dad, we were like, oh, sad. We like missed seeing our other uncle at our first uncle's
right.
house, and Dad had been looking forward to this a lot.
Well, I just thought it'd be really cool
And
to see my other brother, both of
so-
my brothers and their families at the same time in Hawaii.
So, we totally missed them, the 3 kids,
But they were on their
were
way.
in Dallas.
They were
Fort
in
Worth.
Dallas. So the morning when we got to the airport, they were at the airport on their way back east to Maryland. And
So
so
Dad
we
still got
actually
to
got
the-
to see
yeah.
them in the airport, which is crazy
Yeah.
and really neat.
And also,
They were exhausted.
we slept like the 3 of us who got on the earlier flight. We slept
Sorry.
terribly. Like, I didn't sleep at all. Hank didn't sleep at all. Ella didn't sleep at all.
What, your first night in Hawaii?
No, on the plane ride.
Oh, on the plane,
On the
yeah.
8-hour plane ride. None of us slept.
I can't sleep on
But Dad
planes.
and Mom got to go to a hotel. They got to sleep.
Oh, it was actually
So,
really great.
Yeah, I think
'cause-
it worked out really perfectly because I would rather have gone to Hawaii sooner. But I think you had a much better time.
Well,
having
basically, we
slept.
were asleep by 9 o'clock Central Time, which you guys didn't go to bed until like 11 or 1 in the morning.
No, it was, yeah, it was
Yeah,
probably
like 1 in the
2
morning
in the
relative to
morning.
our time, and having gotten up at 3. So almost up for 24 hours.
Yeah, we had been traveling for almost 24 straight hours.
Yeah. Whereas Eileen and I, got to go eat, shower, sleep, and then get up and jump on a plane at 9 in the morning and get there at noon. Because with the 5-hour time difference from Dallas, plus the 3 hours, it's an 8-hour flight from Dallas. So, yeah, so it was like we left at 9 and got there at noon. It's kind of a time warp flying that far. But anyway, all that to say is, again, don't freak out about things because they could be actually working out to be better for you than you could realize or imagine. Because plus, there's no point in freaking out. Like, when you freak out, you miss out on enjoying whatever it is that you could be experiencing in that moment.
You could be riding the SkyTrain instead of freaking out.
Yeah, you could be riding the SkyTrain, or you could be getting a better night's sleep, and et cetera, et cetera. So now we're here at our hotel. We had the most amazing couple of days with my brother and his family.
Truly fantastic.
We hiked to see Pele's nostrils, which, if you don't know who that is not the soccer player Pele. That is the god of volcanoes, and it's like the Polynesian god of fire and volcanoes. Anyways, this really cool place where the water underneath the lava rocks builds up pressure and shoots up. Anyway, like I said, we'll post a video.
It's 2, so it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like nostrils. It was amazing. And we went to a gorgeous beach called Lanikai. Isn't that what it's called?
Yep.
And got sunburned and swam with sea turtles. Like, what the heck? It's been
But we saw a
amazing.
bunch of sea turtles.
So today we're going to just kind of chill out. It's a little cloudy, a little rainy. It's Sunday. We're going to rest. We're going to regroup. We're going to recover from our sunburn. And we're going to be ready to crush the rest of the week. Ella's birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what 15-year-old, not too many 15-year-olds get to celebrate in Hawaii. I guess there are a bunch that live here, but
Yeah.
anyway, God is good. Life is good. God loves everybody. And the more you kind of connect with that, the freer and more full of life you get. And you can kind of spread that energy and that goodness to others. And I think that's what the world needs right now, big time, is just understanding that our Creator loves us, all of us. Like, this world, this universe was made to nurture and sustain and also fill us with wonder. And yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of videos recently where it's like, hey, we're all alive right now. Like, this is a miracle. Like, let's just, and that's great. And I agree with that sentiment, but I think it gets even more personal when you're like, that there's an actual mind behind that is like, I am here for you, and I am here to like connect with you and walk with you and do things with you. And yeah, anyway, so that's just a little bit of what we've been learning on our way to Hawaii. And yeah, I mean, financially speaking, were we prepared to buy plane tickets to Hawaii? No. But Eileen got a new job. Hey, there she is. So she's going to be making a little bit more money this year. Now, I'm not telling
You
you...
don't need to worry about
I'm not telling you that God wants you to be financially irresponsible. But I am telling you that when you trust the Creator of the universe, as you start to get more trusting...
None of this is financial advice.
None of this is financial advice.
Please consult your own
Please
financial
consult
advisor.
your own financial advisor.
But yeah, we're gonna figure it out, make it work. We shopped at Costco. We're not eating out. I went to Costco yesterday.
Always.
And we have a bunch of delicious food in our room. Our room has a kitchen and all that, so Yeah, other than getting here, it's going to be a very economically feasible trip.
We're gonna eat food anyway.
Yeah, we were going to eat at home anyway, so that's money we would have spent.
yeah.
So, anyway, ay. Any closing thoughts, babe?
Um, yeah, I think. So I don't know, like what all you said, but when we got on, like through security, and we were like walking on that little, that thingy that goes up to the air.
The jet
Plane.
bridge.
On your plane?
Yeah.
Because
I
was just like,
Oh, it was incredible relief.
so relieved because I was like, we're here, we're on it. This
Yeah.
is actually happening. We're walking down.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I think we couldn't believe like it was gonna really work. That we were just gonna walk in
and it wasn't that much later.
yeah.
Like it wasn't that big. And we had just gotten a really good night's sleep. Like we went to bed so early, which wouldn't have happened had we been here. We would have been like a lot more tired. So anyway, it was actually fantastic. And we were both just like, well, I don't know if you said this already, but one thing that we started saying a long time ago was God can win with any hand. And I love that. So like we screw up and like do dumb stuff.
And God can figure out how to bless you.
God can win with any hand.
And
Like,
again,
it's
that's
okay.
we're not trying to tell you to do dumb things. We're just trying
But things
to
happen in life.
yeah, things
Yeah.
happen.
And that's okay. Like God can win with that hand.
And you're gonna make mistakes, like giving away your plane tickets when you're in Dallas, not halfway, but hours from your home, and you're just gonna be like, yeah, my plane tickets for 3:00 today. No, I want plane tickets for 9 a.m. on Friday. Like, anyway,
But God can, like, I think that is a really important thing to understand and to like knowing it intellectually, like trust but verify. Like you know it right in your brain. You're like, yes, God can win with any hand. But then like the presence, like that's one thing that happened for me mostly on the third was just being like, because I was so stressed out and like fully internalizing. Like in my brain, I knew that God was taking care of us, but in my body
yeah,
was like
was a battle.
was the battleground where it's like, do I really know it in my bones?
Yeah, can I calm this anxiety in my
Yeah.
stomach, like with the knowledge in my head?
But I think what happens is God proves Himself to you,
Yep.
and then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it gets
He's
easier.
trustworthy. And then the next time He proves Himself again, you're like, oh, right.
Oh, right, super trustworthy. Like always,
trustworthy every time.
always working. It's like Google Maps.
Whether
it's like
I'm
oh, why'd you make that turn?
trusting
All
him or
right,
not,
well
he's still
let's
doing it.
yeah, exactly. So it's like rerouting. Because we do not believe that God has designed the path. We believe that God works with us in us and
Yeah.
through us as
He's
as
playing
we're
along.
creating the path. God definitely shapes some things. He definitely leads us to places, but we're not automatons. We're not witless, mindless puppets in a script that's already been created. There's
Yeah,
way
it's
too
like
much
He
in
knows all the
scripture.
alternatives.
There's way too much in scripture that contradicts that concept for that to be true. Now, if you grew up with that concept, trust me, it's very hard to leave behind. If you grew up believing God created every decision, it's very tough to leave behind. But if you really believe that the scriptures are testifying to a living God, then you can't believe that, because there are too many times where God's frustrated with the Israelites for the decisions that they made for that to be true. Because if God scripted everything, then He can't be frustrated with the Israelites because He made the
Yeah, it'd
decision,
be
not
his own
them.
fault.
And that it's over and over and over
did you
again
make that decision
that
that
God
I
is
made today?
frustrated with the Israelites for the decisions that they're making. So that cannot be, that intellectually cannot exist with the same concept of God created every decision and God has scripted existence. It can't. So that, to me, that's just like what you were saying, like intellectually I know that, but in my body that has taken years to let go of, to believing that God has scripted everything that happens. What is much cooler and is scripturally based is that God is always working to bless you even after you screw it up.
Yeah.
That is scripturally accurate. And that is what is consistent in our lives, is that He allows us incredible freedom and incredible autonomy. But if we are willing to be His children, as in approach Him like a loving father, then He is so excited to connect and to lead and to guide and to bless. And I believe He's also doing that for people who don't care or acknowledge
Yeah.
Him at all. But I think it gets so much more intense and so much more personal when you do have that connection and you have that father-child relationship. I mean, that's what is, talked about over and over in the scriptures, is that you become like a child. And what is a child but dependent on their parent, like completely dependent on their parent. So anyway, there's a letting go, but there's also a lot of letting go. A lot of people in our positions growing up in church are in a situation where what they really have to let go of is the bad doctrine they've been taught their entire lives. And that's really tough. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot easier for somebody who has never had a bad conception of God drilled in, or an incorrect conception of God drilled into their psyche. But everybody's on their own journey, and God's cool with that. Like, God's working in everybody's journey, and God's connecting with people where they are, and we're just sharing a little bit about where we are.
I think the thing that I've been thinking that I really want to develop more is listening, like being still and listening, because I think that we are taught you need to figure out your plan and you need to do the work and you need to blah blah blah, here's this trajectory of your life and how it should go, and it's on you. And I think letting go of that, and maybe it's just on you to listen and to be still and to really get in touch with what God's telling you in the moment, at that time, because it's like he's going to tell you one thing and that's it forever. I think that's the problem with seeing the Bible as the answer to everything, because the actual Spirit of God is active and living, and it's like an ongoing experience in your life, instead of nope, that's it, nothing more.
No more revelation.
Yeah, there's
just the
nothing
Bible.
else. And personal to you? No. But that is true. It is personal to you. And so for me, I'm okay, how can I be more still and calm and really listen and trust and not even need to verify?
I've been thinking about that a lot with this job I'm about to take.
Yeah.
Have we talked about that on the channel at all yet?
No.
Okay, so Aubin has been officially offered a position as an au pair in Paris starting in August, which is next month. So there's a lot going on in our world.
Another reason why we had to do this trip now.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's there are some roadblocks, and I'm
Well,
is
picking a
this the
family is a
wrong
big decision. Yeah.
Is there...
God can win with
Am
any
I
hand.
doing it wrong? Do I need to stop now before I sign this contract and move to another country? Or am I just being worried for no reason? Or not for no reason, but am I being unnecessarily worried? And the Lao Tzu quote, "Let your mud settle and your water clear," kind of listening.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea of let your mud settle and your water clear. It's
Yeah, just be still.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually got my contract yesterday, so I have to look over it. And there are some copy errors, something's wrong, there's
The dates
stuff
are
wrong.
old.
The dates are old and blah, blah, blah. But
Ella just thinks you're over limiting.
I know.
So we really love Gay Hendricks. I don't know if you've talked about him.
Oh
before.
yeah. We did an entire episode on conscious loving.
you too.
Yeah.
Right. So that's... Oh, gotta go do laundry. I love you.
Love you. We're
Anyway,
probably gonna wrap
go look
up.
up Gay Hendricks. Great
Yeah.
books. Life-changing.
Yeah.
For real.
And we've said this before too, but we believe that a lot of people have connected with the true and living God in the context of the universe, and in terms of manifesting, etc. The God that is, the God that created all, is, and loves. The death on the cross was his declaration to the entire history of humanity that he is for us, loves us, and is going to go to... Sorry, it's very bright. Yes, I can't relax that wrinkle out of my eyebrows. But anyway, but because of God's self-decided sacrifice of himself to deal with the whole sin issue, there's nothing keeping... this horrid concept exists in a lot of Western Christianity, that God is up there keeping track of our rights and our wrongs and blessing us for rights and cursing us for wrongs. Well, that doesn't jive at all with anything about the scriptures of the cross. I mean, the cross was for everything all at once. The curtain tore. There is no separation between God and man. God came to do a thing, and he did the thing. There's nothing you have to do to be a part of the thing. All you have to do is connect with it with your mind, connect with it with your soul, with your being anyway. So there are a lot of people who are connecting with this fact that the universe is trying to bless them. Well, guess what? It is, because it's God. It's the actual God who made the universe. It's the same God that made sure that the scriptures remained intact these many years after the fact, that testify to his great love. And but here's the thing: if you don't acknowledge that as the God of the scriptures, God's not offended. It's okay. His love for you is so vast. So if your concept of God is this mystical concept of the universe, God's still working to bless you. He's still working to love you and to lead you to truth and peace and goodness. Some people would ask about salvation. So just because God's trying to bless everybody, how does that fit into salvation? Well, salvation is the receiving of what God has done for you. And so that's a super, super individual thing. That people want to tie that to some sort of declaration or creed, or like saying publicly, yes, I believe in these things, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's ridiculous, first of all, because we've all seen tons and tons of people who claim with their mouth publicly that they believe a certain thing, and then they behave in secret a way that's completely inconsistent with what they claim to believe to be true. And so I don't put any credence in that at all. I don't give that any weight. I think it's super, super personal. I think it's super in the depths of your soul about whether or not you, as an independent and an autonomous being, are willing to accept what God is offering. I believe that it can have a tremendous effect in your life if you let that deep, deep truth come up to your conscious level and help you make decisions and help you navigate life. But I believe the question of salvation has very little to do with our intellect and has much more to do with our deepest, deepest, truest spirit. Because ultimately you either are going to accept your Heavenly Father for what he has done for you that has nothing to do with you, or you're going to be too stubborn to accept that. Whether that's pride, or whether that's self-righteousness or anger or whatever it is, but fear. Or fear, it's I don't know if you would reject it on the basis of fear. I think you would really only, in the deepest part of your being, reject it on the basis of pride. I think pride is the only thing that would make your soul go, no, I will not accept what you're trying to freely give me because I'm too proud. I mean, that's what it seems like Lucifer's deal was when he rebelled against God, was pride. So anyway, my point is this: the universe is trying to bless you. The universe is God. God made the universe. Gay Hendricks and many other writers of books about how to live your life have connected with this truth that you can trust the universe to be benevolent. You can trust the powers that be to be benevolent to you. And when you start living that way and you start making decisions based on that worldview, your whole life changes. And let me tell you, it absolutely does. It's even better when you don't call it the universe and you call it your Heavenly Father, because it's much more personal. But if that's where you're at, great. Do believe that. Do believe that the universe is trying to bless you, because it is, and it's going to continue to make your life amazing, much better. But anyway, Aben, I love you.
Love you.
We love you guys. I mean, we don't know you, most of you, or whoever will be in the future that watches this, but that doesn't really matter. God loves you. God has amazing things for you, but you don't get to become the person that God designed you to be until you start to trust that he loves you. So good luck on your journey. Dig, learn, question, ask, but mostly ask God. Don't ask people. I mean, you can read other people's books, you can learn from other people's stuff, but nothing is going to change your heart faster than just actually talking to God. So talk to him. He's there. He loves you. It's amazing. So we're going to take off. We're going to sign off. Bye. We'll see you in a month.